Hello and welcome to this special episode of Super Switch Headz. My name is Patrick Knisley.
My name is Matthew Stoner.
And boy, oh boy, it's just the two of us.
It's us. We're recording on a Sunday. David's on a road trip across the country.
He's going across the country, and I think in part, maybe, because of the election, which is happening very soon. We're recording this on the 1st of November. Happy November. But it's before the election, so this will probably come out after the election. So, oh my, I hope y'all are doing well out there.
Yeah. I hope this podcast is bringing you comfort, letting you know that things will be okay in the long run.
And we'll have a distraction of talking about video games.
Yes.
We're going to just talk about the Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, since we're kind of taking this week off from a regular episode, and this was kind of big news in some ways we'll get into. We thought we'd just kind of go over this and talk about some of the things that came out of it. This will be shorter than a full episode. And as you pointed out before we started recording, Matt, it's David who breaks down a lot of these games. So we'll do our best. Also, since David isn't here, I'm going to be editing this episode, or maybe Matt is. I don't know. We're figuring this out. So forgive any audio inconsistencies with other episodes, or this one might not be quite as good.
Yeah, and thank you also for your forgiveness.
Yes. All right. So on October 28th, I think it was 9 a.m. our time, there was a shadow dropped just out of nowhere. This last Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, last one of the year, they said, because we'd been getting a string of these. I think this was the fourth one. So we'll talk about that maybe more at the end, but let's get into it. They opened with Bravely Default 2, which had been announced for coming out in 2020, but like many games, has been delayed. No surprise there. They've been quiet about it. Release date is now February 26th. There was a game demo they put out back in March, and they said 20,000 responses to the survey. That's pretty decent, I would guess.
Yeah.
I would imagine, I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of people don't fill out surveys.
Right.
If you're like me, I don't fill out surveys at all.
You play the demo and you're like, they need to fix this. And then you don't fill out the survey.
Yeah, I don't tell anyone. I just quietly whisper to my friends on the Nintendo podcast.
They have a separate video out about the feedback and the changes, and I saw some of that stuff, and it sounds like a lot of the stuff I had heard people anecdotally complain about is being addressed. And in particular, in the Direct, they mentioned the difficulty level and controls, and I know that some people were complaining that sort of the Bravely Default, like, turn-based strategy wasn't there because you couldn't see who was going next and stuff like that in your attacks, but now they've added that kind of stuff in. I'm on the fence about this game personally, Matthew, because I really liked Octopath Traveler, and I understand Octopath Traveler has Bravely Default's battle system, which was I enjoyed and I kind of got into, but I just don't like this weird chibi anime art style of the characters in particular. I'm trying to think if I can get over it or not. When I was watching this Direct, I was like, can I do this or not? I don't know.
Can you do like Crystal Chronicles?
No.
Okay,
I don't like
the thing.
It's very similar, yeah. The visuals, I think the visuals in Crystal Chronicles bother me even more, maybe because they were dated, like at least these have. I think it was DCD on our Discord who said, like, I didn't used to really like anime style games either, but I've gotten used to it, so I think I might be able to get used to this. And I was like, maybe I kind of feel the same way. Like, I didn't used to like anime style games, but I'm kind of into them now, or okay with them.
And you're playing yes. Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
Yes.
which is super anime across the board.
Right. Goodness, that's a whole nother discussion, which we will have sometime. So I think I'm on the fence about this game. Maybe you are too out there listening, but it looks interesting. I think it sounds like they've fixed up some stuff, so that's cool. And we'll find out in February when we hear reviews and that kind of stuff. Next game they showed off was the new Story of Seasons game, which Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. as many people have pointed out to me in the past, I don't really know this. Correct me if I'm wrong here. The Harvest Moon series, like the name Harvest Moon went along with somebody that owns it, but the actual people that made the Harvest Moon games are making these Story of Seasons games. So they're the true Harvest Moon sequels. And apparently the current Harvest Moon games kind of suck, but Story of Season games are supposed to be good. So I also think this is really funny because this game looks a lot like Stardew Valley.
It does.
In terms of what you do, but Stardew Valley was very much influenced by Harvest Moon, from what I understand. Like the whole thing was the guy that made it wanted to make a new Harvest Moon game, and so this is like, I don't know, like a game influencing a game, and then that game being influenced by that game, kind of a thing.
The apprentice becomes the master, and then becomes the apprentice again for a little while, and then the master.
Yes, exactly. Because it just like it's the same. Like you go to your uncle's old farm and it needs to be fixed up and there's a town. It just looks exactly like it. Coming out in March of 2021. Are you ever into these kind of games, Matthew?
Yeah, these are like life simulators, as that's the category. I was never into these games until I played Animal Crossing. But the one main mechanic that really told me that I might play this game is the swinging of the axe motion, where you can chop down like 10 trees at a time. That efficiency of gathering wood, which wasn't in Animal Crossing if that would have existed
it's
there.
Like the Onceler from the Lorax. We're more efficient. We can cut down 10 trees at once.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dr. Seuss reference, y'all. But yeah, I feel the same way. Animal Crossing was my first like game like this, and I did play a little bit of Stardew Valley before, but I never got super into it. So they showed a game called Surviving the Aftermath, which they didn't really explain or show much, I think, gameplay from. I couldn't tell what this was. It looked like it might be either or both a post-apocalyptic management sim, like town or village management sim, and or a tower defense, because they showed kind of like, I don't know if or maybe that was just a natural disaster or something where you're setting up this town in a post-apocalyptic world. I did not do the research on this one to see what the gameplay was, and they did not really heavily emphasize the game, which was an interesting addition here, I thought.
Yeah. Does this take place in a post-apocalyptic world or a zombie world?
What's the difference? Like, or is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's the area. Like, one is a subset of the other, I guess. But like, I don't know. They didn't really explain it. They're just like, you run a post-apocalyptic town in this game. Moving on. We'll see.
Hopefully, there's a demo.
Then they showed off the big Ubisoft game that used to be called Gods and Monsters, right? Or something like that. And now it's Immortals Phoenix Rising. And everybody said it looked like Breath of the Wild back then, and it looks even more like it now.
Oh, 100%. Did you happen to catch the Gods and Monsters in some of the dialogue?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the voiceover is like, you can go up against gods and monsters. And they threw it in.
Let's see what you did there.
This is coming out real soon in December 3rd. I don't know. What do you think?
I think this is a nice game that I'll probably buy.
Oh, yeah?
Probably not for the Switch.
Yeah, that's fair.
Some of the facial animations didn't look great.
No.
I'm glad that, Ubisoft is porting games to the Switch. And it gives people opportunity to play more games. That's always good.
Yeah.
I think it does look fun. Some of the verticality of having wings and flying around looks really fun.
That's true.
Really, any games that lets me fly, I'm going to play the shit out of it.
You're into that, huh?
Dude, I played the Superman Returns Xbox 360 demo so many times because I could just fly.
But you never played the actual game.
Hell no. I just wanted to fly.
Then they went into kind of a fast thing for a few games here, which we will probably do quickly too.
Before we go on, something about Immortals Phoenix Rising. I feel we're in like this. There's a lot of Greek mythology content.
Yeah.
Recent.
Hades.
Do you feel that? Yeah, Hades.
It's Hades, right?
Well, that's one. Yeah, Hades is definitely the one. But there's also the Netflix animated show.
Did that just come out?
Yeah,
I just got marketed
a
to
couple weeks ago.
on,
Marketing works.
Yeah, because I was like, I might watch this. Because it feels like Castlevania kind of or something.
Yeah. Was that Powerhouse Animation?
I don't think it is, but I did not. I don't know. Too bad David isn't here to clear this up. So they went quickly through these other games. Unless you had something else on Immortals: Phoenix Rising, we saw Bakugan, Champions of Vestroia, coming out now. I guess if you're listening to this, it's out. So there's that, which I don't know. Then this game called Griftlands, which must have come out on other platforms, but I'm not familiar with it because this is called Griftlands Nintendo Switch Edition. And I don't really like roguelike games or deck building games that much, but the art in this game looked really cool, I thought, which is probably not enough to sway me past the genre. But like, I wish more games had this sort of Western comic book art style. You don't see that very much in video games. But I like it.
Yeah, it's got this cyberpunk Western. They have like laser knives, but also they have dusters. It's cool. I like it. I dig it too.
Yeah, the art at least. And then Tropico 6, which I know nothing about. There's obviously been 5 of these. Again, another game that's coming out very soon, November 6th. Which I guess is another sort of management kind of sim looking game. I don't know a lot about it. Sorry if you're out there and you love Tropico series. We're glossing over it. To get to this was the big stuff right here. Hitman 3 cloud version and then Control cloud version. And I'm looping those in together because this is crazy. There's been a few games in Japan. We were talking about it before we started recording. What was it? An Assassin's Creed game that came out on the Switch where you could stream it in Japan?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out.
Hey, there's another
cloud version.
Greek.
You're right.
Greek game for you. It's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, and then we have like the other Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
that's
the
in
new
Norse
one.
mythology.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so Hitman 3, they didn't give very many details for. They just said coming to Nintendo Switch, but Control is like one of the things they shadow dropped. Is available now, and there's like a short demo available. And it sounds like a few people on the Switch Headz group played the demo and said it played pretty well. So that's cool. And I think if people who listen to our podcast think it plays well, then I think your general population is going to think it plays well, right? Like, so this is a whole thing. We'll talk about, I guess, maybe a little bit here at the end, just what this means. But what about Control specifically? I know, Matt, you've played this game. I know it got a lot of awards and stuff.
Control's great. It's a beautiful game, and I can see why they're doing a cloud version and not a port. You know, when I look at games like Immortals: Phoenix Rising and how some of the animation doesn't look great, especially with the facial animation, in comparison to like a PS4 or a PC version, I could totally see why you would have a cloud version of a game like Control, which is all about the visuals and the just the textures and even down to the details like the font design. Like all of that anti-aliasing is really important to really capture the environments. So it's a great game, is what I'm saying.
That's cool. Yeah, it sounds like people like it. Obviously, this is interesting. We'll talk more about this in a minute. But then they showed off a little bit of No More Heroes 3, which is coming out sometime next year. They did not specify. I've never played a No More Heroes game. These games just look crazy. And then as part of this announcement, they said that the first 2 games are available right now, the day of, for the Switch. So that's cool, I think. And it also sounds like, from what I've seen of the eShop charts, at least I think, I don't know if they're worldwide or just in North America, that those games have been selling pretty well. Like a lot of people went out and bought them. At least, I mean, they've only been out for a little bit, but they were in the top 10 or so of games.
I played the first one. I played it on Wii. I don't really remember it other than it just being a crazy game.
They look
It's
crazy.
been a lot of fun.
Well, that's good. If it's going to be crazy, it should be fun. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to try these out. I hear that the second one's better than the first one, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll try them. The third, they just look so weird and crazy. So maybe I'll give it a shot. Part-Time UFO. This game looked interesting. This is a HAL laboratory game. So kind of pixel arty, like you play as simple 2D looking game. I don't know. Did this appeal to you at all, or did you see?
Yeah, this was originally a mobile game, from my understanding. Like the concept, like that makes sense. It's on the Google Play Store for $4.
Is it the exact same game, do you think?
No, I think the Switch one definitely has a higher resolution and maybe a remake.
Gotcha.
Looks like this game came out around 2016.
Okay.
On mobile.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think about?
I just think it looks cool. I don't know if I'll play it or not, but it just has a nice vibe to it. It's that simple, old school. It makes sense that it was a mobile game. I don't know. It appealed to me, but if it's really a $3 mobile game, then I don't know. Unless they really added a lot to it or something. That makes me a little cautious about it.
I think Part-Time UFO is the type of game that I would buy right before a short airplane ride.
That makes sense.
A game that I would probably play for 45 minutes, and it's a fun time.
You'd probably beat it, yeah. Or maybe not. I don't know. It looks like it costs $9 on the eShop. So if it is the same or just a slightly enhanced version, I guess it's not ridiculously overpriced. Yeah. So that's cute. And then they ended with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now, here's my big question. Did you watch this part of the...
I have. I totally skipped this.
Okay.
I don't know anything about... I was
you pressed
kind of
pause and
scrubbing. Yeah, I was scrubbing. I quit everything, including life. I was just scrubbing through and then saw clips because I was seeing if there's one more thing after it. But other than the details and some of the playable characters, I have no idea.
Cool. Well, this game's obviously coming out pretty soon, in about 2 weeks. And so I don't know. It didn't seem. I like you. I have been kind of not watching the trailers since the original trailer for this. I did watch this part of it, and it didn't seem to show too much, though. It did show there is a couple things in there. I will not spoil you on, Matt, but that I was kind of
I'm saving myself.
Surprised for marriage. One of the things is, though, that they put out a demo for this game, and again, anecdotally, the Switch heads that have been reporting that they've been playing this have been saying it's great, as has the general internet. So that's cool, and it's the same sort of thing where you can carry over your saved data, and apparently the demo is all of Chapter 1. I don't know how long Chapter 1 is.
Oh my god. I could have been playing Hyrule Warriors this whole weekend.
You could have, yes.
Oh no!
But here's my thing, and after having done this with Pikmin, which I knew I was going to get anyway, this one's maybe a little closer to launch. But playing through a demo where you can then carry over the save 3 or 4 weeks ahead is
a long time.
Is a long time. Yeah, because my son and I played Pikmin, and this is a spoiler for whenever we talk about this, but and he's like, we're definitely using the save data. And I was like, I don't know, it's been a while. I don't even remember the buttons, you know what I mean? And so it has its benefits and its flaws, I guess. But that was the presentation. I think there's some interesting things to talk about broadly here. So the biggest one is this cloud stuff. I think we all, whenever they did this in Japan, we all thought, well, they have good internet infrastructure in Japan, and it's a smaller area, and it makes sense there. But they're doing it presumably worldwide here. So what do we think about this? I don't know. I wonder if there are some regions that don't get this. I don't know. I just said that, and then I don't know the answer to that question. But what do you think broadly about this whole? I think this is big. Personally,
I think so too. Yeah. Just this technology that's bringing to the Switch is at least a partner that brought control over to the Switch is a company called Ubitus, Ubitus.
Mhm.
And I think it's just all about figuring out the technology and what works. But this won't be unique to Switch.
Yeah,
This could come to mobile platforms.
that's true.
I think that's where it's really going to shine, at least for these other third-party games, to create a wider audience for a game like Control.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we're PC console gamers primarily, but there's this whole realm of people out there that are mobile gamers exclusively, or there's crossover obviously, but like I wonder how much of that market you can grab with these more complicated traditionally console PC games. I don't know. Or do they want their part-time UFOs and not these pretty games? But I think that at least where I think this is really interesting is that the Switch is kind of bridges that gap, right? That it's got the Wii level attach rate going for it right now, or on pace with it, to the sort of blue ocean, whatever you want to call the more casual people. And that I think that this is going to get people to try cloud gaming more than Stadia or Luma. Like that's the whole thing you have to sign up for. You already have a Switch. You just have to try this demo. There's no friction there, right?
Right. Exactly.
That's big to me. That means to me, I also think the timing of this is really interesting because obviously like you're thinking, how can the Switch compete with, for these people that are hardcore console gamers with PlayStation 5 and stuff? Well, this is how, right? If they can figure this out, that's big.
How much is Control on the eShop?
That's a good question. I think I heard it was $40. Does that sound right?
Okay.
I'll look it up. $40, I think.
I think the reason why I'm asking is kind of the interesting part that I think about is it's a cloud game. So we're not buying it to own it. We're just buying it for access. So it's always the question of access versus ownership. I'm spending $40 today to maybe have this game for the next year, the next 2 years, and that's it.
Totally. I mean, there's already that with the digital game period, but like, yeah, I wonder what they say about that,
I feel it's taken what digital games are now, where a game, you can download it, it can be on your Switch, but if it's removed, you can always play it on your Switch.
Right.
But since this is a cloud game, you're downloading the client software to your Switch, but once it's gone, you'll never be able to play it.
Yeah,
because it's happening on the cloud.
Man, that's a good point. I don't know that that's going to cause, again, the more casual person to care, which is what I think this is.
I think so too.
Aiming, and I think why this is aiming toward that market so well with the Switch is, I'm not going to rush out and buy a PlayStation 5. I've already got this Switch. I don't have the, funds, or I just don't follow it that closely. But I'll do $40 to try out this cool game that I don't have another way to play. Yeah. I don't know. I think this has the potential to be a thing that breaks open cloud gaming more than a lot of the other things we've talked about in the past. But I do think it's also kind of weird that it's on the Switch too, because then you do have to have the internet for it, right? And like one of the benefits of the Switch is playing it on the airplane, like you talked about, or like, which obviously we're not doing as much right now, but like in a waiting room or something, and you can't do that without internet, and that's tricky. So I don't know. Any other thoughts on this cloud gaming stuff?
I wonder if it will take off. And I think like typically like Stadia, and I don't know. Oh, Luma.
Yeah.
Those are services that have games on those services, but this is a game,
right,
that you buy. It's just like one time. I think we're so used to a cloud gaming service that this is just one game that's offering cloud gaming. I wonder how it makes it more accessible, as what you're saying. I wonder if that will really take off in this company Ubitus will have other games in different markets.
Cool. So then maybe we can end the episode just talking about these mini direct partner showcases. This one was, as they said, the last one of the year, though I'm wondering if this is the last one ever. What do you think on that issue? Because it feels like they did this because of 2020 and weirdness and not feeling comfortable with making a lot of big announcements about their own games. But is this the case of like, because of how they were received, they're going to stop doing it? Or is it like, well, maybe we'll keep doing this? What do you think?
I think it makes better sense to a third-party publisher to attach it to a Nintendo Direct and not a partner showcase.
Yeah.
Because it's not a Nintendo Direct, it's a Nintendo partner showcase. And like, categorically it's different.
Right.
And it doesn't have probably the same, views on YouTube or have the same reaction.
Yeah.
So this was probably a compromise between these third parties and Nintendo.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't return. And I think you're right. I think this might make companies more like, when they are approached about this, especially the bigger ones, might be like, well, what are you talking about, a direct partner showcase? Because I'll be honest, I didn't watch this one right when it dropped. And part of that was because it was the way they do these, where they drop them and you don't know. And sometimes that was a hard time for me. And then I was like, these haven't been that, there's nothing amazing or you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like I have to avoid spoilers for this and watch it as soon as I could. Because they've been kind of mediocre, and overall I think we can say after 4 of them they're okay. Like I think this one was decent overall, and there were some cool things shown off here and all that, but it wasn't, like you said, there was no one more thing surprise where you're blown away. So that's how I feel about it. I also think the rules of what is a partner showcase were maybe a little more bent this time with Hyrule Warriors. And I know Nintendo isn't developing that game directly. It's Koei Tecmo, right? And I know that like No More Heroes is not a first party game and Bravely Default 2, but some of those games are published by Nintendo and are exclusives. I don't know. So like, you know what I mean? Like some of that stuff felt.
Yeah, it does feel weird.
Like
it's got all the flavorings of a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. Just no Mario.
It's like pepperoni pizza combos. I know this has the flavors of pepperoni pizza, but it doesn't taste
it's a
like
combo
it at all.
Yeah, it's
a fucking it's a pretzel with filling.
That's what a mini direct partner showcase is. The snack combos.
Yeah. You think our international audience understands what a combo is?
Just think of
it's pretzel snack,
crummy snack.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say not that great, but I guess they're all right.
Yeah,
just like a mini direct partner showcase.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're a snack where you're like, I haven't had combos in a long time. I guess I'll try it once a year.
Cool. All right, now that we've isolated and made the audience, part of our audience that loves combos, feel bad. I think that does it for this deep dive on this Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase from October 28th. Any other final thoughts on anything we talked about today, Matt?
I might go download this Age of Calamity demo.
Oh yeah, you into it?
I am.
Yeah, at this point, you've only got like 2 weeks, give or take. It comes out the 20th, so you start playing. If it's a decent demo, which it sounds like it is in terms of length, yeah. And also like the visuals, I've seen people post some clips and stuff online, even though I've been trying to avoid spoilers. I've seen it just on my Twitter feed and stuff. It looks really cool. It looks like Breath of the Wild in a lot of ways. So
yeah, that's so weird. It looks fun.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that does it then. And I feel really weird ending an episode without David. Because
he's ended every episode.
Yeah, there was one where he wasn't here, but it was pretty early on. All right. Well, if you want to find me online, I am Patrick. I am PDYX.
Hey, I am Matthew. You can find me on Twitter Matthew, Mathyu.
And then our show is on Twitter. It's Switch Headz with the Z. And on Facebook and Instagram, it's Super Switch Headz. And you can send us an email, superswitchheadz with the Z at gmail.com. And to do my best, David here, everybody stay safe. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. We love you very much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.